Hi, I'm Nigel Haworth and welcome to a morning doing hot pot with Everhot. So Everhotpot, who knows? Let's have a little look at all the ingredients that we've got to make a hot pot. Obviously, we've got the main one, which is long lamb, which is a lamb from Lancashire. We've got onions, which are nicely sliced. We've got some potatoes, which can be a Maris Piper, a King Edward's, that sort of potato. And we've got some baby carrots and some leeks and some red cabbage. Then, along with that, we've got some butter, flour, white pepper, salt, a little bit of melted butter and a little bit of chicken stock. So let's get cracking. First of all, we need to sweat down our onion. We're gonna pop a little bit of butter in there. And the thing is with hot pot is if you're going to use fat, use a minimal amount. We're using the butter a little bit for flavour, but we're using a shoulder of lamb and we've got a little bit of shin in there, we've got some under shoulder, and that's quite fatty. So we don't want the hot pot to be too oily and too fatty. Okay, so we melted the butter. We're going to pop the onions in, pop a little bit of chicken stock in there. We need some salt and white pepper. With hot pot, I always use a ground white pepper because that's traditional, because my mum always did that. And this is a very traditional dish, obviously. One of the great traditional dishes that we have in the UK. We just need to break down the onions there a little bit. We need to season, and we always traditionally put a little bit of flour in there. If you've got an allergy or anything like that, then you can use another starch, like potato starch is a good one to use. Again, a little bit of white pepper, being careful not to overdo it. I usually put about 4 or 5 grams of flour in, and then just mix that up. Get your hands in there if you want. I'm just trying to not get my hands all messy. There you go. And then get your hot pot dish, and we can just pop the meat in, and then let's just see how we are with our onions. Now we've got our onions there now, and we need to mix those into the hot pot, making sure you can leave enough room to get your potatoes on. And I'm actually pushing them into the meat and getting us a nice level there. Seems like there's a lot of onions, but actually you do need that. And of course, the onions all break down and caramelize. Right, I think that's enough, otherwise our little potatoes won't get ashore. And we can't have that, can we now? So we'll just, again, the seasoning. And you can, you know, if you're not sure, just have a little taste just to see you've got the seasoning right. I'm gonna mix that before I get the butter in there. And tiny bit of butter, spread that butter through, and then pop your potatoes on. Now, if you want to, you can just chuck them all on, but it is quite nice just to get an even layer going, and then just build up the layers as you're going. It does take a little bit more time to do this, but it is quite nice and quite therapeutic as well. Just press those nicely down. If you notice, I've chosen the medium-sized potato. You can just then have a nice shape as you're taking the potato along. So do bear that in mind when you're buying your potatoes. And I think we can just get another layer on the top here. I've got some nice ones there. Finish that middle bit off. So we're ready there for the hot pot to go in. So we're going to pop the hot pot on 220 in our Everhot. Pop it into the oven. Now what we do is we're going to pop it into the hot oven for half an hour and then take it into the oven below for about 2.5 hours. So we get a lovely slow cook. And then we should have a lovely Everhot hot pot. Okay, and while our hot pot's cooking, of course, you've got a long time while it's cooking, so you can have a nice cup of coffee. You could do your tangled leeks and carrots. So pop a little bit of salt in boiling water, pop your leeks in, and while they're blanching, the carrots go into cold water, and we pop a little bit of butter in there. He says a little bit, But you're all thinking, oh, that's a lot of butter. And a little bit of seasoning there. Cold water just to cover. And you can put a little bit of sugar in if you want, but these are New Seasons carrots, so they should be sweet enough. So I'm going to pop those alongside, and we'll just bring those up to the boil, cook them gently. You need them al dente, so with a little bite in them, and then take them out and refresh them off, and then warm them up with your hot pot when the hot pot's ready. So my leeks are boiling. Leeks are a couple of minutes, literally a couple of minutes. And then we'll just warm those up. And when we say tangle leeks and carrots, we literally tangle the leeks around the carrot, which is so nice. Very arty. We'll get our leeks out now. Like so. The key thing with cooking, or one of the key things, is being in control. So if you cook your things off, your vegetables off before and refresh, like you would do in a restaurant, you've got control over your ingredients. So you're not going to have old faded green leeks. You're going to have beautiful, vibrant coloured. And of course, all the nutrients stay in the vegetables. So you can just see a little bit of cold water on there, and I can run that off. And you've got lovely leeks that are very vibrant, ready just to be reheated when you're ready. So they're ready. Carrots are coming up to the boil. And we'll see you when the hot pot's ready. See you in a bit. Right, we're ready to get the hot pot out. So are you ready for this? I've got a couple of pans on here for my vegetables, but first of all, let's get our hot pot out. It's been in for a good 2 hours now, below. Here we go. One of the things that you look for with a hot pot, for me, is lovely crispy potatoes, because if you've got the wrong potato, you've compromised your hot pot, basically. So I'm going to just now brush the top of our hot pot with a little bit of butter to make it glisten and glow, but it will need just a little bit of time to rest. So we'll get our carrots into our reduced liquor that we cook the carrots in, and then I'm going to pop my leeks into the pan and just pop a little bit of butter in there, just a tiny bit, and I might just have a little bit of the water there just to get those going. So we're in control, we've got time, and going back to that point of saying, because you've blanched your vegetables, you're in control. Our red cabbage, I didn't show you how to do the red cabbage because it's almost a recipe in itself. So the story goes that through the port of Liverpool, which was really Lancashire at one time, all the spice trade came through into the UK, and so we have this red cabbage that's spiced, served with our hot pot. We've got cinnamon, we've got pink peppercorns, we've got chilli, we've got also black peppercorns, and we've got 3 vinegars in there. We've got malt vinegar, we've got red wine vinegar, and I've got a little bit of balsamic. You're going to say, balsamic? Whoa! But there is a little touch of balsamic in there. And it is wonderful, and you can't buy anything like this. So when you do your hot pot, have a go at the red cabbage, because you can make that 2 weeks, 2 days, 2 years beforehand. It keeps forever because it's pickled. Okay, so pickled red cabbage is there. We can grab our hot pot across now, and we can get the vegetables in there. So our carrots, pop some in the bottom, and the leeks, pop some of the leeks there. And when we said about tangling the carrots and the leeks, we sort of tangle them all together. There you go. You've got Lancashire hot pot with pickled red cabbage and tangled carrots and leeks. Enjoy at home. Thank you very much.